Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Anderson. I'm the current chair of the Affordable Housing Trust, and I'm fortunate enough to be here with Jennifer Goldson. And we are here to talk about the Affordable Housing Trust action plan that we've been working on. And as you may or may not know, the trust has been in existence since about 2009, and we've been tasked with creating and preserving affordable housing for residents of Wenham. And we've had moderate success, and we're trying to improve on success because we have a fund funded. We'd like to have the funds being used. So we've asked Jennifer to help us, and so I thought it would be great to ask Jennifer to give us some background on her and what's going into this Affordable Housing Trust action plan we're working on. So Jennifer.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for asking me. My background is I'm a community planner, and I spent the past 11 years or so building a small consulting practice that really focuses in on community preservation, affordable housing, and through the course of that, I've done a lot of work with housing trusts, starting back in 2005 when the legislation was approved. A lot of communities came to me asking, should we be funding a housing trust? Should we be creating a housing trust? How does that all work? So I've worked with a lot of trusts across the state, and happy to be working with Wenham again after working with you again. I guess it was early on when you first started out.
Right. So before I got on the trust, I know you were instrumental in forming the trust as part of the initial housing production plan we had back in 2008, which caused the trust to be formed in 2009. So
that's right.
You're certainly familiar with Wenham.
That's right. That's right. So in terms of the action plan, so the trust has asked me to help them create an action plan. And really what that is a blueprint for what they're going to do over the next 3 to 5 years. It's going to help them figure out what types of initiatives should they be funding, how should they go about doing that, and how much money will they need.
Oh, that's great. So can you tell us the sort of process overall and how far we've come so far?
Sure. So we've done quite a bit so far. I would say we're about midway through. And we started out by taking a very careful look at Wenham's housing needs assessment that was done in 2017. Then we went through and we had a series of focus groups and interviews with town officials and other stakeholders in the community to really understand what are the issues in Wenham and how do folks perceive those issues. And then also understand what's been done in the past around affordable housing. And from that, we worked with the trust to design a community workshop that helps to engage more people than we were able to through the focus groups and the interviews. And that's what's coming up on January 20th.
It's coming up in a week. It's Saturday. I hear there's free pancakes.
That's right.
Pancake breakfast. That's great.
It'll be a lot of fun.
So a big part of this video is to try to encourage people to come. So what's left to do in the trust, including this workshop? And then we'll come back and talk about the workshop in some more detail.
All right, sounds good. So the workshop is on the 20th. From the workshop, we'll be compiling all the results, figuring out what we learned from the community, and that will help set direction for the action, the action, oh boy,
I know,
so much for one take, the action plan. And from that, we'll write that draft plan. It'll probably go through a number of iterations working with the trust, and then we'll be presenting the draft plan to the Board of Selectmen on May 1st.
May 1st, so the thaw will have happened, hopefully. That's good.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Maybe some spring flowers.
Oh, so that's great. So we have a finite finish date, and we have this workshop coming up a week from Saturday morning with pancakes. What else can we expect besides delicious pancakes?
So the workshop is structured to be highly interactive. Folks will walk in and be greeted, and they'll see a number of information boards to learn a little bit more. What does a trust do? What can they do? Where does the money come from? Who's on the trust? And then they can enjoy their pancake breakfast while I present a very brief overview. From there, we'll be moving into small discussion groups, and folks will be revolving from table to table, talking to all of the trust members. And they'll talk about different aspects of what can go into an action plan. And then from that is when we'll learn what folks think. So it'll be very, very interactive. It will not feel as long as it might seem on paper.
Oh, that's great. And so it seems like it would be really helpful to have as many people as possible to this.
Absolutely. The more people who come, the better the results will be, and the more we'll learn. So the action plan will really reflect the community's viewpoints.
So then what's going to happen with how are the results of the workshop going to be tabulated and formulated, and what's going to happen with them?
So the trust has actually lined up high school students to do the recording of what's going on at each table. So they're going to be taking notes, and from those notes, we'll be compiling a transcript of what everybody said at that meeting. Then we'll summarize and come out with some themes. We hope to find some agreement. We may find some disagreement as well. We'd like to capture all that into a summary document.
Okay, great. And then how is that going to fit into, and what is the ultimate end product of the action plan?
So the action plan will incorporate the community feedback. We'll work with the trust to figure out what is doable, what's feasible given how much money they have, what kind of funding do they need in the future to accomplish some of the things that they'd like to do over the next 3 to 5 years. And the action plan will lay that all out. It will have priorities, it will have specific initiatives, it'll estimate how much those initiatives might cost and where the funding could potentially come from.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, let's hope this helps to get a lot of people to come to the workshop, because the more people that come, as you say, the better the results will be and the better we can do to serve the community.
So January 20th.
January 20th, 9:30 at the First Church in Wenham, across from Town Hall. I hope we see you there.
Thank you.
Bye.